The Bear Pit Pod is back. We are on iTunes, SoundCloud, Acast. Spotify is actually sorted now, Craig.
So when people said last time we weren't on Spotify, were they right?
Yeah, they were right.
They were right.
It didn't actually work. We've had to call up Spotify.
Yeah.
Craig's given him a piece of his mind, and we're now on there.
Yeah, big time.
You can find us on Spotify.
All right, go at him.
He did.
He said Craig's on the phone.
I had to hold him back.
Yeah.
But we're on Spotify as well as YouTube if you're watching now, because obviously that goes up a day after SoundCloud. All the usual places. Make sure to leave it a like or whatever. We obviously have to start off with the major talking point in the Stoke City world, and not only Stoke City but world football. Really, obviously we've not put a video out on the channel since it's happened because it hasn't felt right in a way. Obviously, Gordon Banks passed away, aged 81, a legend of the game between the sticks, a legend of Stoke City, League Cup winner with not only us but also Leicester. Obviously won the World Cup with England. He was named 6 times as the FIFA Goalkeeper of the Year.
I couldn't get my head around that stat. I mean,
PFA Team of the Century.
It's just the Goalkeeper of the Year one was it 6 consecutive years, I believe. I knew he'd won it, but I didn't know he was 6. Can you imagine winning 6? The best goalkeeper in the world for 6 years on the bounce. Just shows how dominant he was for that period now.
I'm going to double check it because I don't.
I think it is 6.
Even reading that back now, what you say, I didn't even realise it was 6 in a row.
Yeah, I didn't at all. I knew he'd won it, but not 6 times in a row. And
yeah, it was 6 years in a row.
6 years in a row. I mean, that's.
Of course, he's also an officer of the Order of the British Empire. There are now calls, and there have been calls before he sadly passed away, for him to be a Sir and to be knighted. There's a petition going around now, which everyone can find on our page and on Stoke Loud and Proud, Wiz and Drivel, Sentinel, whoever it may be, Supporters Council, to sign a petition to get him posthumously.
How he wasn't before, I do not know. I suppose we won't overly go into that now.
How is not all of the World
I don't know. I mean, we won't go into that now because this is like a tribute to him. But that angers me. It angers me. I mean, with all due respect to the whole squad, as you mentioned, they all should be one. But he was, as we've just kind of listed, he wasn't just a bit part player in that squad. He was the best goalkeeper in the world when we won the World Cup. I don't know how that doesn't get you a knighthood.
For 6 years.
6 years. I don't know how that doesn't get you a knighthood. You know, not undermining anyone that's got one since or before, but that's got to be up there. That's got to be up there to get one. But whatever. He didn't need it. But he didn't need it, Banksy.
Obviously, Banksy passed away. There's a statue at the ground for good reason. There has been. It's absolutely covered in flags, scarves.
It looks phenomenal.
All sorts.
It really does.
From all teams around the world, not only Stoke. Messages from everyone in all walks of life and all areas. I think it's more than a fitting testament to the guy of the outpouring of messages and emotion that we've seen on social media across the football world. Port Vale sending out messages about the respects for him as a competitor.
Yeah, Pele, the greatest player of all time. It wasn't just sad to see the passing of Gordon Banks. It was a dedicated.
It was a lovely message.
Post message that went out to the world. It was really kind of lovely to read and see. And again, it hammers home. This is Pele, because it's from a different era than Minuel, and sometimes you don't you get how big someone was because it was well before our time. But when Pele's going out there saying this was the man, this is what he meant to people, this is how good he was, it really slaps you across the face. He was not just the cliche, he's a legend. He was the man, wasn't he?
Yeah, he said he was
really
glad he made that save because of not only the story that came over the years to come, but it also made them great friends. Every time they met up after being away from each other, it was like they'd never been apart. And Pele was just thankful for that whole experience in his life. They obviously became great friends out of that save. And that save is what will, when Gordon Banks is forever mentioned, that save's the first memory that comes to everyone. That amazing save against Brazil. There's also I'm not going to say better, but even more comparable one for Stoke.
I think it's better personally.
Against West Ham.
I'm trying to remove my Stoke tinted glasses, but I look at the West Ham one against Jeff Hurst. I think that's slightly better. You don't see penalties saved like that. Penalties 95% of the time that penalties are saved, it's a poor penalty.
Yeah,
if that makes
kick
sense.
by the legs. Or...
Yeah, or you kind of catch it. But that was a bona fide, absolutely phenomenal save. And if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have had a 1-0 major
won the League Cup.
Yeah.
And Gordon Banks, has been pivotal at, for Stoke City fans, so to say, pivotal at the two only successes we've ever really had.
Yeah.
League Cup, World Cup.
Yeah.
He was pivotal in both of them.
Yeah, he was.
Mental to say.
And it was a bizarre day because I knew that he was ill, and
he'd been suffering from cancer.
Yeah, he had cancer. It was a kidney cancer for a little while, and I knew that it'd come back because I believe he'd had it before. But there was no real update from, as they shouldn't have to publicise what's going on. But there was no real update from him or the club or whatever, the progression of the disease. And even though I knew he was ill, it did come as a complete shock. And when I saw it, I was on the way to work, and I saw it. I think it's by the Stoke Instagram page. And I saw a picture of Banks from back in the day, and you just knew. I thought, oh God. You scroll down, read the caption. He sadly passed away, and I couldn't ring my dad quick enough because I knew how upset rather my dad was going to be, because he's often quoted that he was like an absolute hero of his. My dad was cut up. He was absolutely gutted. And yeah, we've lost an amazing legend of Stoke City, but an amazing man. The images that I watched on all the national media post his death, every time he spoke in these old interviews, you just saw such a lovely man. And it was absolutely, it was gutting. I was so shocked by how gutted and upset I was, because I'd obviously never seen him play, but he'd always been there at the Stoke games. He was part and parcel of the club. He was part of the furniture of Stoke City, the fabric of the club. And I think a little piece of Stoke has sadly gone with Banksy. It's absolutely gutting. I tweeted out.
You don't often tweet as well.
I don't often tweet, but this one certainly deserved it. And I remember growing up, I was always so confused that when I grew up supporting Stoke, we were in League One and the lower reaches of the Championship. We were shy, basically. And my dad would always tell me about Banks, this in the 70s and all this sort of stuff. And he said he won the World Cup. And I could never understand why such a legend of football was with Stoke City, even as in the capacity of being the president, when we were so rubbish. I couldn't understand how this amazing player was associated with my club, even in the depths of League One. But it made me so proud to kind of proclaim that this World Cup winner is the Stoke City president. We might be League One, the Championship, but he's stuck with us. He's grown to love the club, as do the fans. And I couldn't tell people quick enough that whenever they quote the Pele save, the club he played for at the time was Stoke City. And I was so proud to tell anybody that would listen that fact, and I'll continue to do so. And it's absolutely gutting. Absolutely gutting. I'm surprised again by how hard it hit me. Again, I obviously never saw him play, but I knew what he meant to the fans and the club and everyone associated with the club.
Yeah, I mean, obviously never seen him play, but always, for me, when you're speaking about goalkeepers and some of the best that have ever played the game, he was certainly in there as one of the, if not the best. The World Cup save is something that I always go back to. I remember seeing that. God knows how many times I've seen that save, because it's deemed one of the best, and rightly so, one of the best saves.
It's just imprinted
ever made.
Every football fan.
Exactly. If you asked me to draw that from start to finich, I think I could. I mean, it'd be a terrible drawing because I'm absolutely shit. But I know exactly that save and that pattern of play, word for word, image for image. Yeah. I remember, I always think I think it's Bobby Moore. He's got his head on his hands after, and he can't understand how it's been saved. It's like, and then he starts clapping. He doesn't know what's gone on. He doesn't know what's gone on because it's such an unbelievable. To
get the ball
save.
over the bar.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Not only to just palm it wide, but to tip it up and over.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a guy that I don't think anyone will ever forget. As well as what you said previously, such a warm-hearted guy. So many stories about him, about how he's just a kind guy, always willing to speak to someone, to meet the kids, to sign autographs, to take photos, to do any of that. It was a joy to. And when you go back to saying about how he represented Stoke, and he was always a Stokey at heart, really. I think back to the World Cup in Russia. And and he was one of the guys who either came out, I can't remember if it's the opening ceremony or for when the draw was made, but he came out and he had his Stoke tie on.
Oh, no, you'll have me go, mate. Honestly, I remember that. Yeah, at the Stoke, had the little Stoke crest
Little
at the bottom.
Stoke crest at the bottom of his tie, and that's on the world stage.
Completely forgot about that, yeah.
At the World Cup,
Yeah.
representing
Yeah.
the club.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that, and I was so proud when he did that. And I don't know if it's modern day football, he was such a contradiction, or the opposite of all that's wrong with modern day football. Stoke, like you say, went to the world stage, and you've got these glamorous mega clubs everywhere, but he went on there with Stoke tie, and I absolutely loved him for that. I completely forgot about that. And it just started. I started to think, like, because my dad, as I said, he was cut up about it. He was my dad's hero, and my granddad's as well. And I just started to think, I don't know who my Stoke City heroes are from this era. I mean, obviously we've not got a World Cup winner, or anyone that's won a major honour for that matter, but it's, I don't know, it's sad to think that personalities like that don't really exist in football as much. There's obviously the odd player here and there and whatnot, but we're just lucky that he represented our club, and we'll forever be grateful for that.
A man who will never, ever be forgotten,
Yeah.
so to say. Gordon Banks' funeral will take place at the Stoke Minster on the 4th of March, which is, iconically on the anniversary of the 47th anniversary of the League Cup win, which he played a huge part. So it's nice to have it on that date, which means so much to so many Stoke people and would have meant so much to Gordon as well. So anyone who does want to attend, that is the date, 4th of March at Stoke Minster.
That's, I mean, not much more we can say about that.
We can't say too much more about the man without doing a disservice. I don't think we can put it any
we can't.
Any other way. But Gordon Banks, rest in peace. What a guy. To go on to other matters, more recently, the match at the weekend, Stoke City against bottom of the league,
rock bottom
Ipswich, with our ex-manager Paul Lambert
in charge. I mean, they look pretty doomed. I think since we last did the pod, we've missed 2 games, I think.
So obviously we didn't do the pod
Ipswich
last week because of the Gordon Banks day. It didn't feel right to do a podcast on that day. And obviously, like you say, Wigan.
It was a better performance, but then I'm always trying to look at the context of where Wigan are and how far we've fallen. It's difficult to say. It was a good performance because Wigan aren't up to much this year. They're lower mids, as are we. But I suppose you have to look for the positives. We looked a lot more composed. I definitely think we should have beaten Wigan, but I'm not exactly going to become euphoric about the performance or the point for that matter.
No.
And I feel Ipswich in a lot of senses was very, very similar. We looked generally the better team. We were winning, a very, very fortuitous goal. I mean, it was hilarious, wasn't it? The clean strike. Small bits of progress, but I'm not getting carried. Well, there's nothing to get carried away with at the moment, is there? I mean, I'm going to struggle here on this podcast to kind of dig out any positives. Help us out. What have we got? Help? We got anything?
I can't think of a positive.
We got anything. I mean, what is it now? We scored 1 goal in 6 hours, something stupid like that. I remember seeing a stat that we'd not scored in 5 or 6 hours before the McLean goal against Ipswich. It's all about looking forward. Can we see progression? Are we going places with Nathan Jones? At the moment, I'd say a little, maybe. Maybe. I mean, I don't want. I am not going to get on Jones's back this season at all.
No, I don't think anyone should.
But at the same time, it's clearly playing shite at the moment. I'm not going to disguise that point.
Let's go into the match then. So McLean started up front, which has been
that's weird
seeming tactic for a couple of matches. Bojan was on the bench again, which is
loving it. He's loving it on the bench.
Which we'll come on to. McLean scored the opener after a comical error from the Ipswich defence. It was actually Knudsen, who we'd been linked with, who we were supposed to have signed at one point, the left back. Headed it over the keeper. McLean had an easy tap in. We never looked like causing too much trouble in the second half. And right at the very fucking death, 90 odd minute, they score from a set piece.
Of course they do. And it was the point when the goal went in, it was just a case of...
Everyone knew. I mean,
they did.
I saw every Stoke fan on social media pretty much knew that was coming.
Yeah, I mean, I was obviously highly frustrated we conceded, but the worrying thing for me is it was just an acceptance. It just felt inevitable. It kind of went in. An initial burst of anger turned to, that's what we do at the moment, really. That's where we seem to be at the moment. Ipswich are awful this season. Awful. They created bugger all against us, really. And then it was just a sloppy set piece. It should have been a simple corner to defend. Didn't do it.
Didn't happen.
Nope.
Did not happen.
No.
Do we even do a worse than best or worse than man of the match?
I mean, at best, it's a load of 6 out of 10s all over the place.
Etebo.
You know what?
He's been a shining light. When you're asking for positives,
yeah, let's do. There you go, Al. That's something. Etebo he's clearly looked one of our brighter players. He's got a real ability to kind of stride away the ball with real purpose. But he just needs the rest of the team to catch up with him because no one else is remotely on his level at the moment. Remotely. Worst. It's bang average all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I think we could put a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
Into that category. So after that match at the weekend, and I don't know if I see it more running a page like the Bear Pit TV, but I seem to see all the opinions.
Yeah.
And I get a good gauge of what the general consensus is, and also what opinions are creeping which certain way after a while or not.
Yeah, where the fans are sitting. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And an opinion that's been creeping up over the last couple of games is Jones out. It's not a massive one, and it's not. I think I could probably segment it to one platform on social media itself, but the
oatcake.
No. As in platforms, so Twitter, Facebook.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there is some people, and there's some people out there thinking it's not working.
I mean, I've not dived into it as much as you, but when I did pop on the oatcake and whatever else, and I didn't necessarily see Jones out, but I certainly saw quite a few negative comments being thrown his way. The diamond formation was called into question a lot. But I mean, my bottom line is Jones out isn't something we should remotely be considering until at least October of next season. Like absolute minimum. It's just not worth it. I think Rowett did a lot of things wrong, but I think more or less the second after the Leeds game finished, the opening game of the season, I felt the pressure pile onto the squad. And I don't think we ever got over that. We've never come back from that. And I think we need, as a club and as fans, just to kind of... We've got to give Jones time. I've still got complete faith in Jones. I like him as a person, I really do. I think he's got the right morals and values to kind of really run a football club. I'm not saying he's playing the same football as Pulis at all, but I see a similar kind of sort of personality in Jones. I really, really do. I think there's a quote he come out with last week that was on the Bear Pit page. He wants players to metaphorically die for the club.
Yeah.
And you can see that passion within him. And if you've got someone that has that passion themselves, they will find the players to suit that request. I've got faith in Jones. I really, really have. I never really warmed to Rowett. Results didn't help. But I never had this real faith in him that I already have in Jones. I feel he will come good. This season is just a washout. He really, really is. Let's just try and implement what Jones is trying to do this season and then go again probably next year when he gets them real players in.
I'm all for giving him time and letting him see how it goes. And obviously, I think it'll look a lot brighter after he's had a whole summer of getting people in and out, training, pre-season. And I just want to see it out till the end of the season. I just don't hope that it goes the way of a few more bad results and we're slipping into those relegation, because then it will, if we're into relegation spots, then we do I'd still stick with him, but I think there's then a decision and there's even more pressure.
No, I agree, despite me saying we don't quote Jones out at all till October next year. If we are genuinely rather in a relegation battle, which surely to God we shouldn't be. That's a different matter altogether.
You know, and we should be nowhere near a relegation battle. We're on 40 points. We're 11 away from Rotherham, who were in the 22nd spot.
We surely can't. We should be able to just to flop over the line and not worry about that, because there's some poor teams that are...
I was going to say, we've got Ipswich down there on 20, so they're
they're knackered, aren't they?
They're fucked. They're 20 points away from us. Bolton on 26, which are just 3 behind Rotherham. So there's a massive gap.
There is. I mean, after Ipswich is the first time I genuinely looked over my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I was kind of relieved to see it was 11 points. But if we become embroiled in a relegation battle, something has gone unbelievably tits up, even far worse than it already is doing. Surely not.
Yeah,
surely
you'd think not.
You'd think not.
But the bottom line from that is, I think, well, from us too, is that, you know, just stick with Jones.
Yeah,
and let him have a full go at it next.
It's just not worth. Like we said, bar getting to relegation, scrap this season. Getting on Jones's back now is pointless. How many league games? He had 5.
5 or 6. Yeah.
It's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. We just need to give him time and again, bar the relegation scrap. Just leave it be.
So not only are we in a terrible position in the league, so to say, but off the pitch, it's not going great either. There's a few stories that have come out this week. The first one was after the match at the weekend, and then there's another one that broke last night and has been followed up this morning.
Is this our mate Sido?
Yes, our mate Sido. So he was arrested on suspicion of drink driving.
Of course he was.
At 3 a.m. in London.
Yeah,
you know, the night before we were supposed to be playing in
under 23s. He doesn't give a shit about this club, and he certainly doesn't give a shit about under 23s.
Was it Kevin Phillips or someone that said he's happy to pay the fines and just...
Yeah, well, apparently he's on 80 grand a week, is he? So, yeah, so of course he is. I mean, where's the motivation? You're on 80 grand a week. He's had a ban for drugs. He's been caught drink driving. He's late all the time. He scored about 6 or 7 goals since his 12 million swap from West Brom in about 3 seasons. I often quoted Vim as our worst ever signing, but I think Berahino is probably just going to pip him now.
Shade him. You think it's going to shade him?
Shite. Just absolutely shite. No respect to the club. And I don't want to do this, but you look back at Banks and legends like that, the club meant the world to them. 80 grand a week to not give a shit.
It's interesting. It's an interesting one. I mean, he was arrested for drink driving at 3 a.m. He tried to claim that a gang had chased him.
What the fuck's a gang chasing him?
After stealing his watch.
I don't give a shit. Why are you in London at 3 a.m. the night before a game and you've clearly been drinking?
Yeah.
Fuck the gang, that's irrelevant. It doesn't make a difference. Whether you caught drink driving or not, even before that, you're in London at 3 a.m. the day before the game, drinking. That full stop. That's enough for concern. The rest is just kind of like icing on the cake.
So after that as well, there's been a few things come after this story, because obviously a lot of Stoke fans have been now saying, well, let's just tear up his contract. Let's just finish it with Berahino. Obviously that'd be letting go of an asset that, well, it's a supposed asset that, you know, worth some money that we originally paid 12 million for. But there was an interesting comment from Liam Lawrence that followed from... Have you seen this?
I did.
Okay, so this was following the story breaking, and someone asked Liam Lawrence, can they terminate his contract, Liam? Just asking for a friend. That was asked by Daniel at Wingnut2078, and Liam Lawrence replied no, and I'll tell you why. Because the club hasn't logged what he's done wrong over the last couple of years and gave him the 3 warnings you need to give him and log with the PFA and FA. They can't sack him. Great work again, eh? Hands over eyes emoji.
Yeah.
So, I really don't know what's going on at the club. It just sounds like gross incompetence.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it works.
If that's true, if the story's true, that Liam Lawrence says.
You'd assume we'd have an absolute book full of things to log against Berry, you know? Lateness, just for a start. And if the fact is that you need 3 of these to kind of sack somebody, and we've not been keeping tracks.
Or not been logging it. We've not been logging it with the PFA and FA.
Well, I don't know, man. I give up.
Dealing
I
it
give
with
up with the bloke and the club. That's poor. If it's true.
If it's true, Yeah, if it's true, we're just not doing a due diligence, and it's like someone being sick at work, and you've not logged that they've been sick, and they just waltz back in without going through the proper process.
Yeah, exactly. Return to work.
Return to it. It's like doing that. And then earlier today, later on in the day, the Sentinel reported that the club are now investigating their legal position over to whether they can terminate his contract.
So what you said was right. So let's say we do sack him come the summer.
No, I think this is to sack him now.
Sack him now. Does that mean we do? Well, we lose the ability to potentially sell him.
Yeah. He just becomes a free agent.
I feel
but
like
we get his wage. But we get rid of his wages.
It's so frustrating because I feel like, I mean, he loses out because he loses his wages, but he's forcing our hand to not even make money back on him because he's been such a wally.
It's literally just get him off the wage bill.
That's how much of a problem he's become, that we're willing to sack off potential transfer fee just to get him out of the club. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it?
But this is what I read in the Sentinel article. But is there a transfer fee left on this guy?
How many years has he got left his contract?
I'm not too sure, but
you think there'd be something.
Who's going to pay money?
Well,
for
I don't know. I mean, we were daft enough, even though he was fully embroiled in troubles coming from West Brom.
And we paid 12 million. When we could have got him for free in the summer.
I know. We forced it through in January, didn't we?
Yeah. Another one for the transfer team.
Yeah. I don't know where to start or end with Berahino. I just think we need to. I've always generally defended, not his actions, but his ability as a player. I thought I saw something. I'm still convinced there is a player there, but it's irrelevant now. It doesn't matter, does it? If you can't physically turn up or act professional around games and around the club, it's pointless. It's pointless. All the ability in the world, but if you're not got that attitude,
do you get rid of him then? Do you tear up his contract?
Yeah, let's just nip it in the bud.
Just get rid.
80 grand a week, and just put it towards anything else.
Agreed.
Anything else.
I'd get rid. I mean, I interviewed him when he first joined, and it came across that he wasn't too arsed about things.
Right.
So I'll just leave it at that. But
I
always got that persona or that character trait from him. And I remember when you were quite the advocate of him a few years ago, or whenever it may have been, to give him a chance. You remember when he wasn't being played?
Yeah,
and I always thought that's why I always kept myself reserved, Craig.
I suppose you have to give managers kind of credit for that, because we don't see what's going on behind the scenes, and I was only kind of commenting on what I saw on the pitch. But if he has been turning up late, left, right and centre for games, of course managers aren't going to play him. Why would you? What's it say to the rest of the squad if you chuck someone in that's hours late for training and all the rest of it? Just
get rid.
Just an absolute from start to finish. He'd come in off the back of a drug ban. He might go off the back of a drink driving offence with 6 goals in between for 12 million. Just done.
Yeah.
You have to laugh.
Not great.
You cry.
Yeah, not great. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
The other story and talking point that came off the back of the game at the weekend, which again has sort of not split the fan base, but I see comments for both sides of the argument. But Bojan went to the press, went to Pete Smith, and actually wanted to speak about what's going on with his position at the club.
Yeah.
I'll read it all word for word. So Bojan said, "I don't want to be a problem for anybody." He said, "I'm really, really disappointed. I've been at Stoke for a long time, 5 seasons, and from the first day I've done my best. I've tried to help the team like I'm doing still now. I spoke with them at the beginning of the season. I spoke to them in January, and they knew my situation was no good with Gary Rowett. I was training with the 23s and the 18s. I never said anything, but I didn't get any support in that situation. I never want to speak to the press about these things, but I'm now in this situation that I can't accept anymore. I had an offer to go in January, which I think was fair to everyone, but they didn't let me go. Perhaps scared about the reaction from the fans because they know the fans love me. I am still a Stoke player because of my relationship with the fans. I will always really appreciate their support. It's been very difficult. I feel for everyone, for my teammates, and we try to do everything during the week and in training, and we give everything on a match day, but it has been a difficult season for us. The fans deserve better and we deserve better. I'm not at the beginning of my career. I'm 28. It's been a really tough year for me. I've been working really hard. I hear some people saying I'm not fit after the injury I had, but I am. I have played many games at a good level. The thing I need, like every player, is to play. I'm happy because I feel really good in training when I'm playing, but at the moment I'm really disappointed. I'm not coming to the press to demand to play. I just want to explain my situation because I've been quiet and people are wondering why I'm not playing under different managers. I don't want to be a problem for anybody. That's why I said in January, it's okay if I'm not going to play it. I will accept this and I'll go to another club. I just want to play football. I know it's a difficult time for the team. Everyone is working really hard and we just need the results. Now, quite an emotional and honest.
So his baseline is that I think he was given was it a bit of a guarantee by Jones that he would be part of his plans.
And then Jones did say he was his ideal number 10.
And then he's since been dropped. He played against Hull.
Played well against Hull.
I
think he had a good game.
Everyone was so.
Yeah, I think he had a good game. They went off after 70, 65 minutes, which I thought would be down to fitness, and I expected him to play the next game. Nowhere since.
I mean, on the basis that he was told by Jones that he was part of his plans, he was his ideal number 10, and then he's since been dropped from the squad, and you completely understand the statement. I kind of get it. If he was offered a chance to move abroad, because was it to America, I think?
Well, there was a couple. Apparently there was West
England.
Brom. Apparently there was New England Revolution.
Yeah.
There was a couple of deals, and apparently, he's saying that would have been fine for everyone. But
yeah,
and I do feel for him because
completely.
I think there's a lot of truth.
If he effectively turned them offers down because of a guarantee to be involved, and then it's not happened, you get it. All I will say is it's only 5-6 games into Jones' tenure. Maybe he's just exploring all options at the moment. That's me being kind. But the reality is, if Jones wants to kind of stay true to his words, he's his ideal number 10. He's just do it.
I'll tell you one thing. Tom Ince isn't a number 10.
I agree. I don't think he's strong enough for that position.
This is the thing, though, and this is the thing for a lot of Stokies. There's no one playing better in that number 10 role.
No, you're right. It's not like we're top of the league and bombing it and it's all going well.
Tom Ince is playing shite
mix
there.
it up.
Lucas was shite there. There's no one who's done that role well. Bojan was good against Hull for however long he played. I can't understand why he isn't getting a game. I can't understand games where we're looking for some sort of change and we're bringing Shawcross on. I can't understand why Bojan isn't getting a game.
I'm with you. I just try it. I don't get it. The whole game, go again. Get him match fit. He's not had a consistent run in that team for years. The only thing I'm continuously baffled by, and it makes me just hold back slightly on the Bojan thing, this is now Hughes, Lambert, Rowett, and arguably Jones. 4 managers.
It wasn't you when Lambert wanted him. Lambert tried to get him back.
Okay, so scrap them. But 3 managers anyway that kind of just didn't play him. Are they seeing something we're not? Because whenever I've seen Bojan, he's not pulled up trees for a few years, but at the same time he's not been well out of his depth. The way he's bombed out the squad would suggest. Is he not got it? I don't know. It's the biggest mystery around that club. I for the life of me, cannot understand why he's just not given a go. Because why not? I feel like Jones has got a free hit at the moment. If nothing else, you see that the fan base is a little bit kind of angsty at the moment. It's an easy win, and it makes sense on the pitch. Just playing for a run of 4, 5, 6 games.
Speaking of that easy win, I think one of the truest bits of the statement that he came out and said is that they were scared to sell him in scared to sell him when Jones came in because it had upset the fans. I think that's one of the truest bits in there. I think new manager come in, they wanted to get everyone behind him. Did they just get Bojan on side and say that to win the fans over initially?
I don't think Jones needed. I don't know if I agree with that, because I don't think they needed to do that, because when a new manager comes in, they've got that honeymoon period. I think a lot of Stoke fans, if Bojan would have gone then and there, would have just drawn a line and not had a go at the club, and certainly not at Jones because he's in the honeymoon period. No one's going to have a go at Jones for letting Bojan go. He's coming in with his own ideas. I think if he was ever going to be let go, that was the perfect opportunity. If Rowett had let him go, it would have been different. He'd have kind of been in uproar. I think Jones had nothing to lose by letting him go, so I don't...
Do you not think it was a PR play by the club?
I don't think Jones didn't need that. He was already kind of generally in a decent place with the fans because he's new. No one's going to jump on his back so quickly.
But would they if they sold Bojan?
I don't think so. The club may have had to stick, but Jones wouldn't have done. I don't think Jones would have done, because Jones had been there for a week or two, and they would have gone, well, he wants to start again. He wants to kind of get rid of some of these players that maybe been here for a few years, not done it. Fine, I get that. I don't think it would have affected Jones in any way if Bojan would have gone under him. So I genuinely, I still believe Jones's quote at the time when he said that he was part of his plans. Maybe seen a little more in training suggests that he's not. I don't. It's forever going to continue to be a massive mystery.
Yeah.
The Bojan situation.
It's going to baffle us all.
Drive me up the bloody wall.
For a while.
Either give him a go or let him go.
Exactly, and I think that's his main. I think that's his main qualm.
Yeah,
he just wants to play football.
Yeah.
And he was told he'd be able to do that here, and he's not.
Do you remember when he first come? That little spell in that first year.
Oh, he was brilliant.
Phenomenal, wasn't it?
Absolutely brilliant. It was
God,
happier
that
times.
was
Shaq,
really
Arnie. Let's not go into it. We'll just depress ourselves. I've got a secret, Craig.
Okay.
But this is going to be the most anticlimactic thing of all time because I can't tell you what it is.
Brilliant. Can you tell me after this, though?
If enough people leave us reviews and likes, I might tell you next week, but I know the kits for next season.
Do you? As in the kit sponsor?
No, just what the colour they are and all that sort of stuff.
Red and white.
No, but the away.
Oh yeah, do you?
Ooh.
How do you know that?
We'll leave it at that. But
Can you tell us how you got that information?
No, I can't.
Not who from, nothing.
No, I can't.
You can't even say anything.
But leave us a review. Leave us a review saying I want to know, or tweet us # I want to know, and if there's enough, maybe we'll tell you next
Have
week.
you physically seen an image of them, or just been told?
I know. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Elliot knows.
I know. Let's get on to the questions. The people's.
I wonder if they're going to be as cheery as this podcast has been.
What?
The questions coming in.
Don't get your hopes up, Craig. Let's have a look. So first we go off to Twitter. Simon George says, should the Gordon Banks statue be moved nearer to the stadium?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it should be outside the main stand.
Right.
Good point. I thought that last week actually when I think Sky cut to that. And yeah, I think it should be in front of the main stand. I think Stanley Matthews one is in a good spot, kind of overlooking when you're driving through. But I do think the Banks one's a little bit just pushed to the sides, and I think it needs a more prominent place.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever thought about it like that.
I suppose the traffic.
I think about
in,
it that everyone sees it.
Maybe.
It's the first thing when you come on to the area from the A50 whatever.
It's a good argument. I mean, bar those people that ever park behind the McEwens or whatever it's called nowadays in the Booven ends, you would never see it, I suppose.
I was going to say that for me, the Stanley Matthews one's out the way.
I've always think that they should get rid of all the bushes that look over the A500.
Yeah, so you should be able to see it.
So you can actually see the thing.
A50.
Sorry, yes, you can actually see the thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you should be able to see.
It'd be a great landmark that. As you're driving the A50, you see that one. Banks, I always did think it needed to be near the main stand, but you do raise a good counterpoint to that. Everyone sees it as they drive in. So, I don't know.
Harvey Todd says, what's your thirst for when you see a white van? Hughes out.
Yeah.
I think that's what you might have been going for.
Yeah.
But that is exactly what I think of. Stoke Staffs or Jiff says, unlike some, I expected us to finish about 9th or 10th this season, not top 2, but it's already more disappointing than last season when we were relegated. How are you feeling? I have 16 players on my release list.
16?
A CEO and a head of recruitment come the summer. It can't come soon enough.
I'd love, can we request a response comment from, who is it?
Stoke Staffs.
Jiff.
Who's
on your actual retain list? Because I can't.
Not many.
I don't know how many is left. Who's on your retain list? I mean, this podcast should reflect how depressing this season is. I think we've gone over it.
Yeah, we're not exactly overjoyed, but yeah, we're not feeling great either.
No.
Hopefully, a brighter summer, and then next season, I look at the things that are giving me food for thought, and making me think next season will be better. This is what happened with Jones against Luton.
Yeah.
Jones against Luton. Jones for Luton. He kept them up in the first season when they were in a dire position, built and consolidated in the summer. Then they went and got promoted in the next. I look at Daniel Falk at Norwich. Last season was terrible for them.
Yeah.
He tried to implement the football. It wasn't working. Quite similar to Pep Guardiola in his first season.
Yeah.
He tried to implement it. First season, it just didn't happen. Next year, they went on and smashed the league. Norwich are doing similarly now. The football's working. He's got the right people in place. Then are they top? Norwich are top?
I think so, yeah. Or did Leeds play on... Either way, they're the top
Either
three,
way.
worst case.
No, they're top by 2 points.
Yeah.
So that's giving me some hope. so to say.
It can turn so quickly. It really, really can. And we have got quality within the squad. We just need to kind of get that balance right. Them characters back into the squad. I've got faith Jones will find them.
Yeah, agreed. The fan of Maritz Bauer account, which do you know what? I see this account. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to put it out there.
Do you think it's him?
I think it's him.
Why do you actually think it's him?
I think it's him just because he's banned from social media since you've got that itch. He's banned since he obviously posted that at the club. I've never seen anyone so dedicated to Maritz Bauer.
Why would you?
It's an account that's popped up. Let's have a look. It's been. Then again, it's been active since May 2014. Maybe I'm wrong, but the fan of Maritz Bauer, if it is a fan, says, "I worry about Maritz, so you cannot treat him. There is similarity to Bojan. Wolverhampton was not allowed to have him, but he was very interested. It's like they've got an insight." And now he sits on the bench again. Why? That's not fair. Maritz wants to play football.
The way you read that tweet as well sounded like a foreign person that learned
exactly.
English.
This is what I'm saying. I think it's him on the account.
So what's Bauer's question? Let's go back. What's he asked? What's he want to know?
He's basically saying there's similarities to the Bojan situation. Wolves wanted him but weren't allowed to have him, but he was interested, and now he's on the bench again.
Yeah, a little
it's
bit.
It's not fair. Maritz wants to play football.
He was briefly reintroduced to the squad, and then he's been dropped to the bench, which is weird. I mean, all we've got still really is that last 4 or 5 months of last year where he looked very good.
Yeah.
Since then, I'm beginning to forget if he is any good. I don't know now because he just hasn't played.
He hasn't played.
No.
He hasn't had a run. Well, Maritz, if you are listening,
oh, he is.
Just let us know. Just drop us a DM or something. We'll get you on. Tell us about all your problems. Stephen Hambo says, Shamima Begum or Saido Berahino, who gets a second chance?
It's got to be Saido, hasn't it? He's a talent.
Saido didn't join ISIS.
No, he didn't. I mean, you've got to give him that one.
Yeah,
he didn't do that.
We'll leave that.
Did
one.
everything else, but he didn't do that.
We'll leave that one there. That's next on his list.
I don't know.
Drink driving, drugs, ISIS. Free agent. He's off. Game play for Taliban FC. Yeah. The award, or Alex says, which of our current players would you build a squad around for the promotion push next season?
Good question, that.
Butland, Bat, Bauer Edwards.
I'm going to say Vokes.
Because he's got it. He's got to.
I think Vokes is the player we've been crying out for ages, that hold-up player with a bit of nous. And I think if we can... Our whole attacking credentials have fallen down because we're not direct enough, and I think Vokes can reintroduce that. I think we've got to build it around getting Vokes involved.
Etebo.
When you reel off them names, we've got some decent players still, haven't we?
Well, yeah. I mean, Paul Lambert, ahead of the game at the weekend, said that's a league-winning team, basically.
Just shite.
Yeah, just crap. Absolutely crap. There was also a question from Nathan, or at the Brutal Sniper. Do you think Doof should be given another shot?
Where the hell's Doof? Yeah, I forgot about him. I mean, Doof has definitely got his flaws, but I didn't think he'd be bombed out like this. I mean, he did score, 10, 11 goals in a Prem season once, and where the hell's he gone?
Absolutely.
I suppose, yeah. But at the same time, I don't know if he's got any fitness now. I mean, I literally do not know. Is he even playing for the 23s, Doof?
Yeah, he scored a hat-trick the other week.
Oh, with Campbell?
No.
Another one?
Him and Berahino.
Oh, Berahino, sorry. Berahino, yeah.
Scored a hat-trick.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Who knows where he is?
I don't know where he is, yeah.
I'm just going to close my laptop because it's going to explode because the battery's going. So I'm reading the rest of the questions off my phone. Barry Sherritt says, do you think Stoke fans are expecting too much at the moment and that we are better than we thought we are? 2 away draws was not that bad. We are not a Prem team anymore, and we have a manager who has a lot to do and needs backing.
Yes and no. I think the draws at Wigan and Ipswich, I'm still reluctant to say they were good points, but as we've said, I've got faith in Jones, and I just think we need to be patient with him, give him time.
Yeah, agreed. Brian Lees, who is one of our top fans on Facebook, this is a new feature,
Okay.
See if any of you are top fans of ours on Facebook, let us know, because it's
How would you become a top fan?
I've got no idea. I think you just comment.
What, as in for the Bear Pit page?
Yeah, for the Bear Pit page.
Oh, he just says you post loads.
Just
and
comment.
You're on the
comment a lot or whatever.
Right, okay.
But Brian Lees is a top fan.
Okay.
So his question is definitely getting read out. Stoke City, I'm afraid, is suffering from too many managers in a short space of time. Nathan Jones is trying to play the diamond formation. Not with the players at the club at the moment. They haven't got a clue. He needs to get his season out of the way, and we are in the Championship. And of course, he needs backing by the club and the fans. More of a statement, really, not a question.
I agree. A statement.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, top fan, Brian Lees. Christopher Klaus says, I must say, living in Essex, I don't get to a lot of games, though I did go to Norwich, and throughout the support was amazing. Never stopped singing, and even after the game with a sucker punch, people stayed behind and clapped.
Lucky bugger. He's been to the only two away wins we've had all season.
Credit to the Stoke fans, though.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Never say die, so to say. Mark Elliott says, Mark the ball coupon. Have I won? Lol. I don't know what page you think you're on, but we don't do a mark the ball coupon or spot the ball. I don't know where you think you're commenting, but it's...
that game is forever dead now, isn't it, because of the internet? You can't ever do that again. You just find the image on the image.
So sorry, but that's not this page. A lot of people saying about Berahino and Bojan, which I think we have covered. Interesting enough, one of the comments from Martin Eagles. The first message from the club today went out about renewals of season tickets.
Oh, yeah.
And Martin Eagles says, what pure bullshit will the club push to sell season tickets next year?
You've done it already. Just quote what Norwich have done. Quote what Jones did at Luton and just say, next season we'll boss it. Don't worry, lads.
We'll go for it.
Stick with us.
Because last season it was the coach's letter.
Yes. Yeah, it was.
Promising us a lot.
Yeah.
And that we'd rebuild.
To be fair, Coates has backed the manager. This is by no means Coates is doing this season. I don't know what the hell's happened. But
okay, well, whilst we're on Coates, we'll read out a comment from Carl Lane, who says, Peter Coates has lost interest. Left to his inept son to run it with Tony and Mark, and they're taking the piss, which is why we're in this situation. That's my thought, guys.
This season, what more would he have wanted Coates to have done? I know our net spend isn't that great, but we have spent, 30, 35, 40 million on youth players and stuff. So, I mean, I don't really know what more Coates could have done this season. It's just been bad management for me. Cartwright and Scholes are a different cup of tea, but Coates, nah.
Agreed. Nah, Peter Coates is of a certain age. He can only do the job for so long. He's passed it on to his son, so it stays in the family. For me, I think the main problem, as ever, has been Cartwright and Scholes. Not so much on the Coates.
They need to introduce a disciplinary logbook.
Like one of them accident books.
Yeah.
Oh, Barry, Sado's been done again. Yeah. Get him in. Slap on the wrist. Let's have a look on Instagram. If you don't follow us already on Instagram, it's TBPTV. You should be able to find us. Luke Menton said, would a drunk Berahino score more goals than a sober Berahino?
Well, I mean, 6 in 3.5 years. I think there's a reasonable chance, yeah. Yeah, I don't think
just these he doesn't feel the limitations.
No, yeah.
He's fine. Deck and also Lewis Titley say, what are your thoughts on Vokes? Deck says, personally, I don't like him.
I think he'll be fine, Vokes. He's a Jones player. He'll be absolutely fine. I've got absolute faith in Vokes. He's perfect for Stoke.
There's a few comments about Vokes, saying he's not very...
He's coming for a little bit of stick, but again, how long? 3 games in this or something now? He's got the credentials to do it for us.
Yeah, just give him some time.
Bloody hell, 3 games.
Boss Brendan says, my name is Brendan, and I want to know why Bojan isn't in the starting 11. We don't know either. Really. Sorry, Brendan, but thanks for clarifying your name as well.
I'm not even saying Bojan's going to be the answer, but let's just at least attempt to answer it, and then we can draw a line under it.
Yeah, agreed. Harrison Burton says Fortnite or Apex. And I'm not sure you'll know what either of that means, Craig.
Well, I know what Fortnite is, and I did download it, and I went on it twice.
Not fun.
Got battered, and then I've not returned to it. And I do know what Apex is. It's the new Fortnite.
Yeah.
But I've not experienced that one. Is it good?
I don't know. I've not downloaded it yet. I was planning to do it tonight, actually.
Were you?
Yeah, because I won.
Is it free?
Yeah. I won a game of Blackout on COD last night. So
I don't know what that means, but as in like a battle royale thing?
Yeah.
When there's like loads of you?
yeah.
Okay.
So I won one last night, and then
Well
someone
done.
messaged and I screenshotted it and put it on my Instagram story, and someone said you need to get on Apex, bro. I was like, okay.
I have seen.
I've only just managed to do this all right.
I've
Never
seen
mind.
that
getting a new
Apex is
game.
the next game to take the world by storm, but I probably won't get it.
There's a lot more questions that follow the same narrative of. Yeah, Thomas J. Dalton says, "Are we fucked?"
At the moment we are, but next season it'll be alright.
People asking like Ed Hull, when do we start to worry about relegation?
It's not Eddie Hall, is it?
No, it's not that one. Not the big one.
What did
yeah.
he say? Sorry, Ed Hall.
Do we need to start worrying about relegation, or when do we? We don't at the minute.
We don't. I mean, it's worth kind of peering over your shoulder just to make sure, but surely not.
Yeah, I don't.
If we go down, that's going to be cut up, isn't it?
Not quite yet.
Surely not.
Thank you for your questions. Favourite of the week?
I like the one about who should we build the team around next year, because ultimately next year is where it's at.
Whoever that was, you are now a top fan of the Vervet. I don't know if we can even give it out. I think it's just done automatically. But...
Facebook decides.
Okay, next up, Aston Villa at home.
They're having a shit season as well.
Are you there?
Yes.
I'm there.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Cue the next podcast where we lose and it's just
Can't wait.
Miserable chat.
Yeah, Villa, they've been up and down. Again, I think they're in not a similar situation with Buds, but they've got a new manager who's been asked to be given time, Dean Smith.
Very similar, isn't it? I think he's starting to get a little bit of stick and pressure from the Villa fans now.
Yeah.
Similar boat to Jones, I suppose.
So it's two teams who aren't where they probably should be.
I just want to see some glimpses of progress, that's all. Just the odd attack where you see the diamond working, or just the philosophy of Jones being implemented on the pitch. That's all we need at the moment. Just some encouragement for next year.
I'd love to see Jones just put Bojan in at 10. Say, right,
Yeah.
then.
Completely agree.
You've had your word to the press. Show me what you
Yeah,
can do.
yeah. And then it's on Bojan. I want Bojan to kind of do the talking.
Yeah, and then it's on him. And
pressure's off the club then.
if he doesn't perform, fair enough, you drag him, you never play him again.
It takes the question off the table and he puts it firmly in Bojan's hand to answer it.
Yeah. And he's the master of his own future.
Yeah, exactly.
So that has been the Bear Pit Pod. Make sure to like,
Go.
subscribe, leave us a review, and I might reveal my secret next week. iTunes, Acast,
The latest
iTunes,
sensation.
Spotify, SoundCloud. We're everywhere
YouTube,
now.
so
YouTube, we're everywhere, Craig.
Yeah.
iTunes, we're everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't get enough of us. We're on every platform. And we will be back, hopefully, after a win against Aston Villa next week.